You're good to go.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Talking About It live episode. It's me, Ashley, and we have Mike here, my producer as well. But yeah, so why do a live? Reason being is last week was a freaking was really hard on me, like just mentally and physically. So I didn't film a episode. And I've been really good about making sure that we film once a week, regardless of how I'm feeling, even if it's just like a intro or 17-minute show, just so that I'm making sure that I'm accountable and I'm going through everything. So this week, past week, we didn't do it. And it was kind of bothering me that I didn't do it this past week. So I figured let's try a live and, see what you all are talking about, what you want to talk about, and just kind of doing a little show about anything really. So yeah, we're gonna have a few guests that are gonna hop in. If you do want to hop in on the live or you have questions, please make sure you put them in the is it in the comments section, I imagine, like on Instagram. And we'll get them to you. If you want to hop on because there's something that you want to talk about, send a comment there and we'll be able to share the link with you to come on. Um,
Check the link on both Facebook and on YouTube.
oh, there you go. Mike put the link. So y'all just click that if you want to hop in. And yeah, I'm wanting to really just talk about uh, kind of want to reintroduce myself, right, to everybody if you haven't been able to listen to an episode. Um, on like any of the streaming platforms. But basically, what I like to say that the podcast is about is mental health and how it affects you, and my journey through it, right? And I just really want to be a resource for you all to um, see in real time what it's like dealing with some of these mental health issues and also give you tips that work for me and might work for you. But also to build a community, guys, because I feel like we sometimes say, oh, well, we're introverted or we're this or we're that, and we kind of close ourselves off. So I want to build a community where we can be online and have interactions so you're comfortable in your own space. Um, because people are really nice for the most part.
We have
Um,
a guest here if you want to
yeah,
if
yeah, yeah.
you bring him on.
Perfect. Yes. So speaking of people who have been kind and welcoming us with open arms, we do have one of the Theos from Buzz Podcast. We have Cujo.
Oh,
What's up?
what's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Just another day getting ready for this this event we got planning pretty soon. Just running
Yeah.
through all that good stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
so guys, for all of you who have are tuning in or are listening to this later, these guys are throwing hosting a really cool event to benefit jazz musicians. I'll let Cujo go more into it, but as I'm talking about building communities and lifting each other up and meeting each other where we are, um, I just want to build a community where we can do that together, whether it's virtually, we have meetings, meetups, like at this cool event that the Buzz guys are putting on. Let's just kind of rebuild community because I feel like community is a thing that has kind of like started to fade out.
mhm.
And yeah, so Cujo, let us know about the event coming up because when I saw this first, I was like pillow fights, and all I could think of is the hot chick. I don't know if y'all have seen the hot chick.
Yep, Rob Schneider.
Yeah, that's all I see. That's all I picture when I see this. So let me know what is that about. Let everybody know the details for it.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, again, congrats to everything you guys are doing. I mean, to go live and do this is pretty not only cool, but it's kind of scary, like on our end, because you never, there's so many unknowns and whatnot.
Mm.
But congrats to you on that, man. That's pretty dope. I love what you guys are doing. I know you have the tutelage there from Mr. Tipton, who is going to be our MC officially for our first annual. I had to reword it a different way, right? First annual Brew Battle Pillow Fight. It's going to be going down June 14th. This is my co-host and I, Jules and myself. This is our own Father's Day gift to give it back to the community. It's the day before Father's Day. We're getting together at the Sagi Peso. We're doing a fundraiser for the Jazz Exchange, where, like you said, it's a local like jazz school to teach and help kids that are interested in the music, because jazz isn't as popular as it once was, but it still teaches a lot of fundamentals. There's a lot of people both here and in Juarez that are really big in it. And these guys are one of the very few guys, if not the only guys, that actually help to get these kids to, be able to, get them away from doing all the stupid stuff that we as young kids or young adults do, and give them something to focus on, and to be able to focus on jazz music and give back in a contribution. Some of these kids are like musical prodigies, man. Some of these, I've seen these guys get down. They are amazing. And what the Jazz Exchange does is not only do they have workshops, they teach you about jazz, they teach you how to play. They also take these kids out on certain like to big festivals to New York, so they could intermingle with the huge jazz community out there. So these guys are they're a huge nonprofit that's been going on here with Candace and her husband Abel. These guys are amazing. So I thought it was only I thought it was only fair or fun if we could go ahead and give back to the community and help these kids out in any which way, shape, or form that we can.
Dude, that's awesome. Like jazz music is one of those that I think it's coming back. You know what I mean? Like I
So.
remember my dad listened to a lot of jazz. So like I remember listening to it as a kid. But like I remember in the 90s with like Diggable Planets?
Diggable Planets.
They did that like they had the horns and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you were telling me about it, that's what I started looking into. Like there's a lot more musicians now that use a lot of a jazz influence. I think too, yeah, a lot of hip hop. I think too, like Bruno Mars and them have like that background. So it's really cool what people are trying to do. And again, building communities. I didn't know that this was a thing, right? And so we get so fixated on what our algorithm is and the shit that it feeds us that we just get so tunnel vision in the things that are actually going on and all of the good. So I think it's big props to you guys for wanting to give back to the community, and I applaud you guys for doing that. It's very huge.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean it's I think in music is one of the most lovable things. Like you're saying it's so it's so fluid in music. You have, like you said, back then you had the Cantaloupe Fantasia, Us Three. That's actually a remake of an old jazz song. They just put a little hip hop to it. So Tribe Called Quest made billions of dollars of it. Just about everything they do has a jazz influence. So there's a lot of stuff in music that people don't even realize, especially the younger generation. Because the way I've always said it is, to get to where you're going, you got to know where you're coming from.
Yeah,
and that's one of the things that music, it's endless, it's timeless. There's times, like you said, like your dad listened to it. I'm sure, like myself, when I listen to certain songs, I'm back in that moment the first time I heard it, and I'm 7 years old again, or whatever the age is, and I'm that little kid again, and you remember everything, the smell, the taste, you remember everything and how great it was, and that's what we love about music, and the fact that we could do this. We're able to partner up with a lot of local people. Like I said, Tip's gonna be our MC. We got local podcasts supporting us. Also, we're going to be on there. We got we got a special main event, but I'll be recording that one actually later on today.
Okay.
So yeah, hopefully that goes. Hopefully we'll make that announcement within this week.
Nice.
But this I'm super jazzed, I guess you could say.
Hey,
I'm super excited for this, man. I can't. The last ones that we've done, that we've been able to help the Child Crisis Center. We are able to help at that time was future Olympian or hopeful Olympian Kayla Gomez. We've done stuff like this before, and every time we do it, on the background, you hate it because all the work that it has. But the day of, I mean, that's tip. We have a blast. It's amazing, and hopefully we can have people come out here, show each other some support, show each other some love, because at the end of the day, we're all we got.
Yeah, for sure. And Cujo, how can they purchase tickets? And if they cannot attend the event, but they want to donate to this awesome cause and this foundation, how can they get in touch with them, the Jazz Foundation?
Yeah, so on the internets, if you go to www.thejazzexchange.org,
Okay.
under events that they have planned, they have a code there so you could you could prepay your tickets. That way you could go that way. We will be selling tickets at the door at Soggy Peso. And again, Soggy Peso, I mean, they've come through clutch and said, you know what, dude? As soon as I mentioned to them, they're like, yeah, we're in from the get go. And to hear a venue be like, no questions asked, without them, stipulating, whatever, money involved right off the
Yeah.
bat. They're like, you know what, dude, we're in. So yeah, so it's big shout out to Sagi Peso for helping us out. But yeah, it's at the jazzexchange.org under events. Kids under, I'm going to say, if I remember correctly, kids under 13 are $5. Kids 5 and under are free.
Okay.
And at the door, like I said, it's $15 a ticket, but it's going to come with a jam pack, a card. Also, we're going to have one of the things that Candace, who's the like I said, one of the owners of the foundation, she wanted to say, how can we showcase, what we do? So what we're gonna do is, for the first hour, when tickets open or doors open at 4, first fight's at 5. From 4 to 5, we're gonna have the band playing. We're gonna have
Nice.
the jazz band on stage, giving them their flowers, an opportunity to play in front of people. They're gonna be playing, and then we're gonna take a little 20-30 minute intermission during the fights, so that way we could go ahead get the big band out there and give them an opportunity to shine too. So yeah, we got we got a lot coming, and then you'll hear myself and Jules and Mike. We'll be talking the whole night through, so you'll hear
Oh Lord.
some
Some
wild
some
stuff,
random
some funny
shit.
stuff. Yeah, but it's all a good jest, and it's fun. Mike does a great job with it. He's a great MC. So I mean, I got nothing but high hopes for this.
I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you though, like, how did you get in connection with the Jazz Exchange? Like, what's your connection there? Why was it that their mission is something that spoke to you?
I've always been big on music. I've always been big on, especially like old school music. When you start thinking about, when I was saying, coming back, where you came from, Frank Sinatra, Billie Holiday, and you start going back and back and back, and it's like, dude, these guys, when you sit down and you hear a record nowadays, everything's synthesized, everything's studio, everything's edited.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is, any monkey can do this, basically, right? Any kid, any 7-year-old could basically put a beat together. But when you hear these guys play live and you see the emotion and they get, that rawness from you, it's amazing. And I met these guys because I was coaching football, and one of the kids, it turned out that Candace was the aunt of the child, and she invited me out to a gig that they have weekly. I think it's every Wednesday or Thursday. They're at the Garrison. They're all over the place all week. I went to a show, and man, that spark of love for music just kicked in, and I was like, dude, if I could do anything to help these guys out, I'm all for it. So yeah, that's what got me.
No, that's amazing, dude. Like they must have been really good to get that emotion out of you, because like
Oh,
sometimes you just have that stuff locked in and then you'll like you say you hear something or you smell something and you're like, oh, and it's just like a file cabinet in your brain, like "Rrr."
oh yeah, music.
And
That's the thing that's lovely about music, man.
and that's the cool thing that I was gonna say about music too, right? Like you see how it can help out your mind, like it can help out your like your mentality and stuff like that. I remember 60 Minutes did a thing. I want to say it was like maybe 2 years ago, with Tony Bennett and Lady
Oh, Lady
Gaga.
Gaga.
Mm,
Tony Bennett was going through like the real bad parts of Alzheimer's dementia that he had,
Mhm.
and
yep,
whenever he heard the music, like he became Tony
yep.
Bennett again. And like it's amazing how music can just bridge all those gaps. And like there's people that listen to music, and you got people that really listen to music that can sit there and vibe. And I think that's
Mhm.
awesome what you're doing here, helping out this group of people with at the Jazz Exchange.
Yeah, like I said, music is timeless. That's the one thing that you don't need to know the language of what the musician's playing, but you hear it and you're like, damn, that is something special, or that that dude's good, or that bad is this, and you don't even have to understand the language that they're playing, but you hear the music and you feel it,
You can
and
feel it.
that's amazing.
Like this dude right behind me. Wait, this side. Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Ooh,
Well,
one of the
of course,
greats,
RZA too, but I was talking about Stevie Ray Vaughan.
one of the greats.
Yeah. I named my daughter's middle name is Vaughn after Stevie Ray Vaughan. Fun
Nice.
fact.
I thought you were
Except
going to say your daughter's middle name is RZA.
no.
That'd have been awesome.
Yeah, that was a fucking missed opportunity right there.
I,
Dang it.
I just finished a little league baseball season this past weekend. Jinder, gets his medal. He does all that. One of his teammates was actually named RZA, just RZA, and I was like, that
Oh,
is an amazing parent.
Yeah.
yes, for
Hopefully they're
sure.
passing down the woo and all that stuff with the name.
RZA's kid is going to be the Jizza.
The just there you
Yeah,
go.
it's a RZA and his
Suck his
brother
dick. You got
Cameron. Oh,
no, but Cujo, I know you're about to film as well on your
yeah.
show. So thank you for hopping in. Again, I'm so very grateful to you and some of these other podcasts who have showed us nothing but love and opened your arms to us, and that for real means a lot to me because like I said, as people as myself who has just this panic disorder and anxiety, we close ourselves off and we forget that there's a world outside of our brain. And you guys have just been super supportive. Even when you had me on your show, you were very kind and everything, so appreciate you. We're here to support anything that you're doing. Again, I told you I'll help you anything you need for this thing. I just won't get in the ring because I'm too hood for that. My
No,
temper would not allow me to do so.
I feel it. I feel you.
I mean, we've seen some people go at it in the ring, so I mean, you might fit right in.
Nah.
Yeah. But
But
I appreciate it. I mean, like we've said, I've always said from day one. When I started at 18, my first job out of high school, I was a promotions assistant at one of the radio stations, and back then it was always like competition, right? Healthy competition to a point, but it's
right.
to a point where if you're associated with one radio station, everybody else hated on you, and you were allowed in certain places, or there was that mixed emotion, and everybody would do everything they can to tear you down. And one thing I said, if I ever get myself, any little bit of platform, um, I want to help anybody who can, who's willing to put in the work, because as many people would think, there's nothing in podcasting as far as money, fame, recognition, and all that. It's hard. You got to be a Joe Rogan or somebody who's already established, but to have the the balls to go on camera and try to expand your mind and get other people's point of view, and or help somebody, and or just make somebody laugh for 20 minutes or
Yeah.
30 minutes after a shit day that they've had. That's all a payment that we ask for. So my whole thing is to help anybody and everybody that I can, in any shape, form, or fashion, and anything that we can do for you guys. That's what we're here for, and that's the only way we can move together, because there's a lot of talented people here in El Paso,
Yeah.
and it sucks that people tear each other down just so somebody could move up. And the way we've always seen it is that if I can eat, we all can eat.
Yeah.
There's plenty on the table for everybody. So, again, kudos on what you guys are doing here. And don't forget, June 14th, see you guys, Sagi Peso. the third first annual Brew Battle pillow fight.
Hey, thanks a lot, Kuj. I appreciate you. When you were
For
talking
sure.
about the radio stations, all I kept popping up was the wrong burgundy in my head when the new stations are battling.
That's how it was.
Is
That's how it
it?
was back in the day. Oh my god.
That's
Oh yeah,
crazy.
especially with the morning shows. Oh yeah, it
Oh,
was wild.
that's
Yeah,
crazy. But no,
it was
thanks
wild.
again, man. I appreciate you. And again, well, June 14th,
June 14th.
Sagi
Doors open
Peso.
at Sagi Pesos. Doors open at 4. First match is at 5. You'll see myself, Jules, and like I said, our MC, Mr. Tipton there, giving our best, trying to support this great nonprofit with the Jazz Exchange. It's gonna be awesome. Like I said, I'm so excited. Like I wanted to come already just to get it over with. But I'm so excited, man. It's gonna be awesome.
But yeah, thanks a lot, Kuj. I appreciate you. Have a good show tonight. I know you will
Appreciate it.
because you guys always kick ass in that.
Thank you. You guys be good.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night. All right. So that was cool. So again, guys, this is for the Jazz Exchange program. I will in my stories continue to post their link on there. We have another guest that wants to hop on, so I just got to send that link. I'm excited to hear from this guest. Let's see. Hang on. I got a new phone. Well, yes, I know you're gonna make fun of me with your iPhone snobbiness.
It's not even snobbiness anymore. It's just wanting to make sure that I can stay in contact with people. It's one of the best things about like the iPhone. I mean, I appreciate you. I got nothing but love for you, but your green messages disgust me.
How does it? I don't even know how it looks like.
It just looks like green messages. Like it's not as nice and as pretty as all the other conversations I have with people. Like
And
you kind of see like it's green and it's
well,
gross.
change your color palette.
I mean, why would I do that whenever you can just get an iPhone?
I can just get. Well, we do have an iPhone. We do have an iPhone. It is, however, it's the one we use for our business, and I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to use that
The
phone.
most user-friendly phone in the world, and you're like, I just can't.
I couldn't, man. I couldn't. My grandfather had an iPhone forever, and my grandfather had an iPhone forever, and I started helping him. And I was like, dude, I don't know how to talk you through getting into your email. I don't know how to open your Apple account. So like, he was ready for a new phone, and I'm like, you got to get a Samsung.
You're like, I'm sorry, but this is what you're.
Sorry, this does not work for me. So yeah, I already did the repurpose thing. So while we're waiting for this other guest to hop in, I have a few questions that I've had on the Instagram Messenger, so I wanted to share those and answer some of them because I don't want you guys to be like, see, we finally engage and give you questions and then you don't answer them. But I thought this would be a fun way to do it. Okay, so how has your own mental health journey shaped your voice or direction? Um I actually was thinking about this today because I have changed so much over the years, right? So like if you're in the same place that you were like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that is not healthy. Like you should always be evolving, right? You should always have growth in some type of way. And I feel like I've changed a lot um as far as how I approach people. Um my mental health journey has made me more empathetic towards people, almost to a fault, because then I am only looking like I'm digging for the good in people, or I'm digging for uh things that maybe sometimes people just aren't ready for. So I feel like the way that I connect with people is different. I am very intentional in the things that I do. So even when I'm posting stories, the music that I choose is intentional. If you listen to a lyric in there or if you listen to a beat, there's a reason why I'm choosing that. And I think that's very different from how I was before. I think I was always intentional. But I think now it's more for a deeper thing. I don't know exactly what that is. I'm still in therapy too, guys, so I don't have answers for everything. But I will say the way I approach people is a little bit differently. I'm more intentional in the things that I do and in the people that I choose to surround myself with and let into my circle. I feel like I used to give myself no, that's not true because I always had very big walls up. But either way, I am more intentional and I approach people in a more empathetic way. I try to find common ground more so than the differences. And I feel like if we all did that a little bit more, we might be closing some gaps that we're seeing now politically. And again, I get this question a lot. I see it very often in my feeds is why do you talk so much about politics and why do you talk so much about the school boards if your kids are homeschooled and you're not even in that realm? Well, because guys, I care about your kids as well. Like it's not only about me and my family, it's about you and yours as well. And if I can be any type of bridge between a gap, then that's what I will gladly take on. And if it's making it easier for you all to get information going through me, then I'm going to, advocate for that as well. And with that, our next guest is Ryan Woodcraft.
What's
Congratulations.
going on, y'all? Thank you. I
I'm
appreciate it.
so glad that you were able to hop in. I know that you were in big meetings. You've been super busy. So thank you for taking the time to hop in on this one. And again, I am so proud of you. Sorry, I just clapped on the mic and it was like directly in. Sorry, everybody's ears. I'm so proud of you. I mean, like I said, we started talking when you were running for commissioner's court. So to see you evolve and go through this growth has just been I like just so proud and excited because you just bring this fresh perspective and yeah, so welcome to our live. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry I'm late, but yes, I was on a phone call, one that I could not postpone, unfortunately. And
No, that's all
I've
right.
got about 15 to 20 minutes, or whenever you kick me off. So
Yeah,
whichever.
no, we're good. 15 minutes works. I just kind of wanted to give you time to catch up. I watched last night because I am a nerd, and I think people think that I do not watch these things, but I was watching your guys' session last night, and
What'd you
it
think?
was
How'd it go?
it was like you could tell there was just a lighter air in the room. I feel like the board that is there now, I think that they feel relief because they had so much on just the four of them or however many it was. So I think it was lighter. I think that yeah, I liked it. I'm excited about the things that you all were discussing. And I don't know if you want to, I don't know, should we talk about some of the stuff that you discussed,
Yeah,
just kind of bullet points?
yeah.
So they talked about what the role of board members is. So y'all don't be slamming and DMing these guys like crazy when you're having trouble with your teachers or kids in school. Like you guys were separating what your roles are. Um,
And just a caveat: if there's an issue, please let me know.
no, for sure.
And we've already had a couple of those. I've had some phone calls with some folks, but you know what the general populace doesn't quite understand is that yes, we're elected officials, but we're also we're trustees and not representatives for a reason. And so while I would like to listen to everybody's complaint, the best thing for me to do is put you in contact with the right person to address that complaint so that they can handle it. Because if it becomes a complaint or a grievance before the board, and I've listened to your entire story all the way through, I now have to recuse myself from that vote in any potential chance of helping.
Right.
And so what I want to do is get you in contact with the person who can best facilitate what it is that you need as quickly as possible so that that expert can help resolve your issues.
I love that because I think a lot of times we don't know who to go to in chain of command when it comes to schools, right? We kind of hit on this on the episodes where you were on, where if people are talking about bullying and their kids getting bullied and things like that, I always see in the comments like, go to the district. No, so like I'll respond like, go to your counselor. You know, if you're not able to get through to the teacher, go to the counselors. The counselors are trained, they're mediators, they know how to get in contact. They're the ones that, so I feel like the board letting the people know the chain of command is one way to like really get communication open and going, and kind of like you said, freeing up the lines um for some of these things that you guys are going to be experiencing, right? You guys also talked about hiring a new superintendent and some of the public meetings. What are they called? Were they public meetings?
No, so Texas uses a closed process for the superintendent.
No, where they were doing the filling out the questionnaires.
Oh, like the community listening meetings?
Community, yeah. So they
Yeah.
were talking about, you guys were breaking down a lot of the concerns and what people wanted to see in a superintendent and things like that. How did you feel going in there, and like, was that your guys' first working meeting together?
That was the first time that we were all seated together. Yes. Um, there's still for me, there's still some of that freshness where it's a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, right? Like people are nice to you normally, but people are really nice to me now. And so
Oh
that
yeah.
takes a little bit of getting used to, right? But being able to, everybody's friendly, everybody's, helpful, everybody, wants to provide you whatever it is that you need. So that we can make the decisions that we need to. And I think you're absolutely right. Like there was a sense of relief from the already sitting board members.
Yeah.
And we were still missing Miss Gardea last night. So we didn't even have all 7 of us, right? We were 6 trustees and the superintendent. But you could tell that the dynamic was shifting. And there was a sense of relief. At the very end of the meeting, they asked everybody to, in one word, tell me how you're feeling, right? And excitement and gratefulness and gratitude were all things that came out. The community listening sessions I thought were great. If you go back and watch the whole meeting, which if you're a glutton for punishment, I would recommend you do. But you're going to get a real feel for who this board is.
Yeah.
We started off with some of our individual ideas and perspectives and goals, what certain items mean to us, what we think the priorities should be, or a question that seems simple but is really thought provoking is, why does an education system exist?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we here to do?
Yep.
And kind of breaking that apart. And when you take the values and the priorities that the individual board members came up with, and you compare them to the priorities and concerns that the public came up with, and you compare them to the concerns that the staff and students came up with, they're all really in lockstep.
Yeah.
Right. And so this entire community, from high schoolers to trustees and the interim superintendent, we're already on the same page. And now it's our job to go out, and walk out the marching orders that the public have given us.
Yeah. I thought it was just so cool. And one thing that I thought was pretty funny was a moment when you guys had all switched chairs and Manny went and sat over next to the current superintendent. And he was like, I was your principal. Like that was so funny to me. Like that little exchange was just it was light. It was, it just, I think that we need that in politics in general. We need to find that common ground. We need to see that these younger kids are, and not even kids, these younger people are coming in with good ideas. They're wanting to make change. They're not afraid. And so yeah, it was a really cool moment that we saw. And yeah, I loved it. I'm a nerd for that stuff, and I was just excited to finally see you guys like in there. And I'm glad that they streamed that that session, because I think that if public will go back and watch that, like you said, it was very long. So like if you go back and just kind of skim through it, you'll get really good information, and hopefully make you want to be more engaged in the schooling. Like we've talked about that in the couple times that you've been on, is be involved, have an ear to what's going on in the school. Like
Yeah.
it's very important. Your
And
voice is
the next 40 days are about ready to be absolutely ridiculous. I can promise nothing, but if we do this properly, we could have an approved budget and our finalists for superintendent both on June 30th.
jeez.
Right. So the next 40 days are going to be absolutely crucial. Of course, we want people involved all the time anyways, but if you've been waiting to get involved, please don't wait anymore.
Yeah.
Right. We're in the process of the budget. We're going to, be doing interviews with some of these superintendent candidates, bringing some back for second interviews and that whole process. And if you haven't had a chance to look at the agenda for tomorrow night yet, we will be voting. There's an item on the agenda where the board will be discussing establishing a financial and operations advisory committee with 2 appointees by each trustee and 2 appointees by the superintendent.
Okay.
Right. That's something that Josh and I had talked about previously when you were on your show. And when this process started behind the scenes with the superintendent and staff, I don't know, but I'm so thankful they did it. So to be able to really cash in on the previous board and the staff's hard work to provide this FOAC, it's intended to be temporary, but they're going to start looking at next year's, not this year's budget, but next year's budget, and look at places to create efficiencies, stop waste, generate revenue. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of discussion about that tomorrow. Whether it passes or fails, we'll see. But it's an item, right? And so if you're passionate about having citizen oversight on some things that the school board and school district does, like this is a prime opportunity.
Yeah.
Go to the meeting, give some public comment. Let us hear about it.
I love that. I think that is a testament to just talking about things and opening up the dialogue. And, I think when Manny was on, he had said there was something similar that is already, or like using what committees and everything are already in place. So I don't know if this committee was already something that was maybe the idea was there and they just didn't implement it, or they didn't know what to do with it. And geez, hopefully maybe people listening to you guys, you and Josh on with us talking about it, made them see like, oh, this is what people are actually asking for. And you got to give credit where credit is due. If that's the case and they listened, then hell yeah, then that means that us talking about things is getting the first steps to moving in these directions. That's all we want.
It's right. And you're right. It's credit where credit is due. Like I can't take any credit for the work that went into it. But I'm going to be part of the team that either, reaps the benefits or, reap some rhetoric, depending on how the vote goes. But it's one of those things where, oh my God, what's the old proverb, right? Like there's no limit to what we can accomplish if we don't care who gets the credit. And so kudos to the team that came before, right? That was able to just get it to the point to put it on the agenda. And because of that, it's making sure, in 2 years and 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, that we continue to set up our successors for success.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that progress, right? I mean, that's all we can ask for. Baby step our way through these things, right? So not only in mental health, but baby step your way through things, because you will get to your end goal. It might take a little bit longer, but at least you're seeing progress happening. And I think that that's all that we can ask for.
It's celebrate the small wins.
Yeah.
It's a phrase I like to use with my kids quite often is, how do you eat an elephant?
Yeah.
One bite at a time, right? Don't get overwhelmed with the task at hand. It's one foot in front of the other. It's one thing at a time, and then celebrate the small wins, right? When you make a difference, celebrate it, recognize it. It's a big deal. And then on to the next one.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to keep that mindset though? Because I know that you had like a lot of things that you wanted to do, things you wanted to change, things you wanted to see happen within the district. How hard is it to kind of keep that mindset of, okay, look, I can't come in here feet running, hitting all gas, no brakes, none of this stuff. I've got to be a little more patient. How hard is that for you?
A little bit. It's a little bit difficult, but we have to play the long game. And so I've told folks, oh my gosh. So it was Thursday night. We got sworn in at the ceremony. Friday morning, I had my first one-on-one meeting with the chief academics officer. And so when I told folks, like, I'm not waiting to get sworn in to get started. There was some work I was doing before last Thursday, but once I took the seat, we're going to get started. And a lot of that is informational for me, right? Like, you can't come in with an iron fist and upend the system when you don't know how the system works.
What?
So,
wait, you can't do that? What?
I had a great hour-long meeting with the chief academics officer and the assistant superintendent for elementary schools for them to educate me on how curriculum development at SISD works, how our learning management systems work, making sure that, we don't have stovepipes of excellence, but we're a cohesive unit across the different departments. And I was really excited with some of the stuff that they were able to educate me on, things that I have a good baseline with. This Friday, so we have the meeting tomorrow night, and then this Friday, I'm meeting with 5 different school administrations from schools within District 2, in addition to meeting with the chief technology officer and the director of maintenance and operations. And again, all of that is meet and greet and educate me on how this works, because I have concerns, but I need to understand how you do it before I can even attempt to try to influence anything. Right. So teach me how it works, and then we'll figure it out from there. And so, yes, starting with kind of that boots on the ground, it seems like a mad rush right now. And I've already apologized to the lovely ladies that have been helping us from the superintendent's office. Like, I literally just got access to my email yesterday. And so things are still kind of in motion, but knowing there's that, those long-term goals, there's things I would love to accomplish when it comes to redistricting. There's things I would love to accomplish when it comes to the healthcare transfer and health benefits and the medical clinic. There's things I would like to do with creating efficiencies within the police department, but we can't do that in week 1. Yeah. And so it's taking care of what we have to now, prioritizing the budget and the superintendent. That's number 1. And getting those in place before the next school year. That's where the focus has to be.
Yeah.
And I think it's just maintaining that focus on, yes, there are long-term goals, but we have, you've got to shoot the alligator closest to the boat first, or you're never going to get the boat across the river.
I love your analogies. You always have just these like little one-liners. But I think, like, even when I was listening to you speak yesterday, the way that you speak is just very much intentional. Like, right before you hopped on, I was talking about speaking with intention and doing things with intention. And the way that you speak, the way that you put these ideas out and get the information out, I think is just so refreshing. I think it's I just love it. I mean, I think of like Pete Buttigieg, the way that he speaks and the way that he gets information out is, maybe it's your guys' military background, or that you guys are very pragmatic in your thoughts. But just getting that information out in ways that make people understand it, without making them feel any type of way about like, oh, what is that? Or, oh, I don't understand that. Like, you've just always been very open with us asking questions and you answering questions and dropping that knowledge on us. And I think as long as you continue to do that, and bringing that into the board, I need to like look at a thesaurus, because all I ever say to you is like, I'm so excited to see you guys doing stuff. Like, I can't wait. I'm stoked. And I just don't have words. I just don't have a very big vocabulary. But like,
we'll start with jubilation.
There you go, jubilation. Yeah. For real. So yeah, I again, I appreciate you always willing to just hop in and have conversations with us. I still for sure want to have you on so we can hit more on the mental health aspect of all of these things, because again, they are all connected. And it's important that that we have that discussion, right? Like, I think it's one of those that we'll probably need more than an hour on. So whenever you're,
and when you start talking with emotions and anxiety and, getting overwhelmed with tasks, We've talked briefly before. I can't remember if it was on camera or backstage. But I have PTSD from the different combat deployments I've been on, and the coping mechanisms with that, and knowing the trigger points and how to resolve them. It's a stigma that shouldn't be a stigma. It's one of those things that's part of our society, and we need to know how to work with it, and overcome it and be successful. Maybe not in spite of it, but because of what we've learned and how we cope and how we deal, and being able to recognize that with others as well. So, for sure, definitely, even election night, it took 96 hours for my phone to stop. And at first it was really exciting and fun. And then by Monday morning, I was really sick and tired of it. And I just wanted it to stop. And now that we're in the seat, all the tasks that we have in front of us and the compressed timeline. And, at the very end of the meeting, when we were asked what word, one word describes how you best feel in the moment, my word was gravity. Because it's one thing to talk about doing the work when you're on the campaign trail. It's another thing to sit there and look at it and realize that what we have to do over the next 40 days will literally drive how over 40,000 of our students are educated over the upcoming years. And the weight of that decision really just kind of started to hit me at the very end of that first meeting. Not gravity in a bad way, not like it's overwhelming and it's dark and it's tiresome, but in a way of, we are going to make a significant difference, and we're damn sure going to do it in the right way, is a collective, cohesive unit, and it's going to be awesome to watch.
Yeah, and I'm so along for this ride. I'm so happy for it. I am. Yeah, I think right there you just kind of said it with everything. Like, yeah, I'm just so in awe of you guys. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it was so cool on election night watching it, and like seeing you and seeing Manny and even seeing the other candidates, how they did in the races and stuff like that. And they did very well. And it was like, man, I had 5 of you on.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 of you got elected. And to me, it's just like we have a front row seat to seeing you guys. Yeah, thank you for giving us.
Home, those are Hall of Fame numbers, Tip. Right? That's a 400 batting average, bro.
Easy Hall of Fame. There was a comment over on Instagram. E. McCarthy 11479 says, unsolicited advice, trust but verify, and I hope you follow through.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a military mantra, right, from the very beginning. Trust but verify, for sure.
Yeah. And again, like always, Ryan, thank you for coming on. If you ever need anything from us to get some information out, where we can, the agendas, I think they put them on the board, streaming, like on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, so SISD still has to follow TOMA, and so all agendas, must be posted 72 hours prior. And so anybody can go to sisd.net. If you click the Board of Trustees link under, I believe it's the About Us section.
Okay.
And then there's a file there for meeting documents. And you just follow the tree down. You'll find them, and there's a link in there for the streaming for sure. And one thing I have not established that I owe our community is a community meeting and feedback forum. It's one thing that I told folks when I was ringing doorbells is, it's one thing to have my email and phone number. It's another thing to have community meetings where you can come out, get updates, talk to people, work with Representative Nino and try to piggyback on some of his. I haven't had time to breathe long enough. I haven't even sent out my newsletter to my volunteers and donors and said, hey, we won. And I've been in the seat for almost a week now. So
no, you're a busy dude. And then you've got these 40 days that are just going to be so impactful. So again, after all this kind of settles, I'd definitely like to have you back on for the mental health discussion that I feel like is going to be just very impactful and again, just informative. So definitely want to have you back for that. I wish you nothing but the best, and just keep on keeping on and sticking to your principles and sticking to everything that has gotten you here. And I know that it will just be nothing but success for you.
No, I appreciate it, guys. I mean, you've been with me for day one on this, and I will forever be grateful for that. I mean, Tip even showed up to my watch party. I don't know
Yeah,
if you yeah, and then lo and behold, we have a mutual friend from back in the day. So
oh, there you go. Yeah, I mean, good people. What is it? Real recognize real or something like that. Like good people just find each other, and
That
we've been
might
really.
have been the lamest gangster thing I've ever heard in my life. Real recognize real, player.
Hey, that's like me trying to say toxica. like like I just don't have the swag. I'm a nerd, dude. Just
But it was a fun time. It was a really good time over there at Undisputed with Ryan as he was doing watching along, and you could see like how nervous he was. We all kind of felt like it was in the bag, but he was nervous, and it wasn't until it finally came down that he was the winner that we could all finally celebrate and let loose a little bit.
yeah, I literally refused to celebrate until I got the phone call from the superintendent that said congratulations. And then from that point on, it was like, all right, I'm going to cut loose a little bit. But
good. And rest. You had to rest like at least for a little bit.
yeah, funny enough, no, I don't think I got home until almost midnight. And then I was right back at church the next morning because we do set up teardown. And so I was right back into the swing of things at 8 a.m. on Sunday. But
I know. I messaged you. I'm like, dude, make sure you like take a moment to soak it all in and put your feet up and just take a minute.
And let's not forget the 96 hours of phone calls.
Right.
They have slowed down, but now the emails are rolling in. So yeah.
Well, thanks again, Ryan, for hopping on. I appreciate you. And again, anything you need from us to get information out to the public, just let us know, man. And that's what we're hoping to continue to do.
For sure. All right. God bless you guys. We'll be in touch.
Thank you, Ryan. Have a good one. That was so cool that he was able to hop on. And we were able to kind of see that little update. Because it's crazy, right? Like, oh, I don't know. Do you have this like when you because you do your sports and you've interviewed like professional athletes and things like that? Like, has there been athletes that you've interviewed from like when they're first starting out and then you kind of see them progress and at every stage you get like you celebrate them or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I mean, as a matter of fact, there's a guy in the NFL right now, Tyrese McKnight, that used to play at UTEP, or Tyrese Knight rather, and like I interviewed him his sophomore season, his first season here at UTEP, and I remember thinking to myself, man, not only did he have a great story because he came from Florida where he was homeless at times, living in the back of the car with him and his mom and his siblings. One of his brother passed away very tragically. And you find yourself rooting for these people. So whenever you see them, reach the goal of what it is that they want to do, no matter what the goal is, it's one of those really awesome moments. And you just kind of sit back and like for me, I'm like, man, I got to be a part, like just a small, tiny part of this guy's ride to whatever it is that he's going to do.
Yeah, I think that's crazy. And like for me, nerd status, seeing somebody on this running for commissioner's court and then running for school board, like it is just so cool to see. And yeah, I love seeing people win. I love seeing people, like you said, hit those goals that they put upon themselves, because that shit is not easy. It's so easy to give up. It's so easy to let the naysayers hold you back. It's so easy to let yourself to hold yourself back, right? Like I held myself back from doing this podcast for a long time, just straight out of like fear, right? So if you have a goal and you're deciding, should I do it, or I need to wait for all of these circumstances to be just the right thing, just fucking go for it. Just take that first baby step and get moving, and you'll be very surprised to see the results. And it's just cool. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought that was super cool.
No, it is, and like to see someone that's been so passionate about what it is he wants to do actually succeed and continue to succeed. I think that's one of the cool things about it too. And then he's going to give it his all. Like Ryan's going to give it his all, and he's going to do his best to make a positive impact on the community.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so cool. Just so cool to see. I don't know. Again, I need to start like stop looking at Urban Dictionary and start looking up thesaurus.
It is so lit.
I saw this thing pop up the other day, and it was like some English professor or something who did a whole speech. Or no, I think it was languages, and he was talking about the dialect that they use now. So
Mhm.
like he ended up doing like this whole speech, but in I don't even know what the language is, Gen Z language or whatever. But yeah, I thought it was. I don't know. I digress. That's me just saying all these words that I've had the same vocabulary since the 90s. I have evolved, but my fashion and my vocabulary has not. So let's just leave it at that. All right. So we're just about an hour in, and I wanted to put in. I answered one question. It was kind of heavy. I do have a couple of questions that are like a little more light. So, and Mike, actually, I want to ask you these questions as well because it'll
Uh-oh.
be good to know. So one here, what is your comfort movie show you could rewatch forever? Comfort. I would say like Home Alone, Back to the Future. I don't have one. Show. I've been watching Matlock. I'm still on my Matlock kick, y'all, and I was on that. There's like 12 seasons of Matlock, so I'm gonna say that one for now for show. But as far as movie, basically any Christmas movie I'm in, uh, gangster movie, any of like the Bronx Tale, Deuces Wild, Goodfellas, any of those, I'm in. The Kill Bills, any Tarantino movies. I'm a huge movie buff, so it's hard for me to pick one. What about you, Mike?
VJ Dean is laughing at your, I guess, your movies and shows.
Ronnie. So that is my homie from like elementary school. Veronica, thank you for tuning in. We go back and forth with these memes on like knees cracking, backs giving out, just sneezing. Our conversations have definitely changed from the days of drinking Zimas in a bathroom at Roller King or whatever.
For me, I normally lean like Big Bang Theory is one of the shows that like I can just watch on repeat like all the time. That's really it for me as far as like TV shows go. Movies, there's something about like the comfort movies that I like, right? Like Gone in 60 Seconds, like action movies, just
Oh,
things like
that's
that that I can sit back and watch time and time again, like Magnificent Seven, the remake with Denzel Washington, right? Like for me, movies like that, I can just kind of sit back, vibe, even if it's just background noise. It's something that makes me feel a little bit better.
yeah. Oh, those are good ones, by the way. And it's funny, like we talk about movies, and it's funny to realize how many movies are actually remakes. Like I think Gone in 60 Seconds is also a remake, if
Yeah,
I'm not
both of them.
mistaken.
But like,
Right?
apparently, all the movies I like are remakes.
No. Well, because they just recycle them, right? But there's always good versions of it. Another one is what's one totally random skill that you have? Oh, fuck. Totally random skill. Hmm. I can find the worst in everything.
I don't think that's a random skill. I think that's us as human beings. We look for it.
I can you can give me a problem and I'll give you like the worst case scenario that you wouldn't have even thought of. Just
The
kidding.
WebMD of real life.
You're right. You have a totally random skill.
I'm ambidextrous. I can write and throw and do everything with both hands. So
Oh,
that's
same.
yeah. So that's I look at that as a skill, right? Like
Okay.
I'm naturally left-handed, but I learned. I grew up in that weird time, like at the end of the 80s and the 90s, where they would still make you write with your right hand. So that's the reason why I can write with my right hand and do all the other stuff. The one thing I can't do though is like I can't hold a spoon and a fork in my right hand. Otherwise, I kind of stab myself in the face.
I think we had to learn how to be ambidextrous back then because it was like when I played softball or t-ball and all those going up, like I am left-handed, but they didn't make the gloves or like they were more expensive. So I used to like catch the ball, take off my glove, and then throw it with my yeah. That's how I always played outfield. Anyway, okay, let's see. One more. I don't know. Okay, well, let's just do the two because I feel like they're short. What is your walk up song or hype song? Ooh. Honestly, the song that I always like anytime we were out or like anytime I'm about to do something, it's either the Eminem song or it's the oh my god, I gotta look up who sings it. It's the Never Scared. I
Oh,
never
Bone Crusher.
scared. Bone Crusher. There you go. Yeah,
So which
but I'm
Eminem
always
song?
scared.
You said the Eminem song. Like there was only a singular Eminem song.
Well, you know, the knees weak, palms sweaty. I can't think
Oh,
of the name of it. Lose Yourself. Yeah, there you go. I can't. They're all very like hood songs too.
I guess with
I'm,
me, like it kind of depends on my mood, right? Like one of them is Ti Bring 'Em Out, and it starts with
mm,
TIP coming live from the VIP, right? So like
oh,
it's perfect for me. The other one would be like if I'm in a rock mood, then it's going to be Hail to the King by Avenged Sevenfold, and it just starts off hard and it fits perfect. Or Doc Holliday by I was gonna say the Large Volta. It's not the Large Volta. It is the other group, and I cannot think of their name off the top of my head right now.
mm. It's not the 30-second. No, I need to see where my.
Sydney said that Dad just said you're a poser for that Eminem comment, Mom.
Well, I couldn't think of the name of the song.
So Doc Holliday by Volbeat is who I was.
Volbeat. Ah.
Yes.
Well, let's see. If we're doing rock, I would say AC/DC. Was it the Thunderstruck? The Thunderstruck?
Thunderstruck.
That one is one for me. Another one would be Metallica.
Enter Sandman.
No, I kind of like the other one, the one that comes out in it's the Master of Puppets, I think.
Oh.
Sydney asked Dad if that's the right song. It's the one that comes out in Old School when they're like taking people in the van.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I think it's the Master of Puppets.
Mhm.
Yeah, those would be my if I had rock ones. And final one is if you could have dinner with oh, see, BJ said yes. I got that one right. Did I get points back?
Nope, still a
From
poser.
that poser. I'm still a poser.
I'm not the judge here. I'm making the ruling. Still a poser.
All right. This one is if you could have dinner with any 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be? Oh, let's see. So one would be, of course, my grandmother, my little grandma. Probably my big grandma as well. Just to see like just to hear her like talk about just to see her reaction to like where everything is at right now. And then the third person would be I don't know, somebody that's like influential. I'm gonna say Pete Buttigieg right now. Because
Ah.
I've been a fan of him since the very first time he ran. Like I was all about him. And like to see now again his growth and things like that, I would love to have a conversation with him. I feel like when you see them on podcasts and you see them on these town halls, you get more so of like their talking points and like people are asking about the same issues. But I would like to learn more about like he seems very nerdy like I am as well. So
BJ said that he wants to talk to Hawk Tua.
of course you do, BJ. Ay.
The name fits.
That's my husband, y'all. Wants to talk to Hawk Tua. Lord, I don't know how to feel about that.
And then Sid said, "Girl, that's my song and $1 Million Baby."
Yeah, the Thunderstruck, that is Sydney's hype song. Well, where do you think you got that from, girl?
Who do you think was listening to that while you were in the womb there?
I listened to a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan and a lot of Journey when I was pregnant. Yeah. My son loves Journey. But anyway, who are your 3, Mike?
So I'm gonna exclude family out of that one just because I think it's an easy one, right? Like I can be like my mom, my daughter, my brother, like just people like that, right? So I'm going to exclude those ones because they've passed, right? So with me, I was kind of thinking about it. I would want it to be like inspirational type of people for me at least, right? So like I would go with someone like Tupac, like what was
Mhm.
the motivation behind everything, because we can hear the stories, but whenever you get that firsthand context, like that one right there, right? Another one for me is going to do like what every man apparently does. This is a trend that I didn't know was a trend until very recently. Julius Caesar, right? Talking about Rome and like just how it was to change the world and have that great empire and like all the things that were around at that time. And the third one, I'm still thinking on this one, but like I think it'll go more along like the artistic side with like Leonardo da Vinci, like people like that, just because I'm always the type of person where I want to see like how the brain works.
Mm, I like that. I think well, now you're making me want to change my 2 answers because of course you're right. But see, sticking on your uh like going with the Rome and things like that. I don't know. Marcus Aurelius.
There we go.
I've
Yeah.
been reading a lot on the Stoicism. I actually used to listen a lot to the Stoicism theories, like when I was really deep in it. Um, so like I think that if I'm going like off of what you're doing, and then just to piggyback off of your Tupac, a lot of these guys, like the more I've been listening to his music recently, he talks a lot about mental health, about
Mhm.
struggle, about things like that. DMX was the same. They talk about these issues, and it's like, man, had they still been around or had they been able to speak openly about their mental health struggles and things like that in a way where it didn't get uh looked at in a weak way, or maybe they felt that they couldn't talk about it and that's why they wrote the such hardcore songs, but it's talking about such heavy shit, you know.
Mhm.
I think that those are great.
And for those that don't know, like what you're talking about with like Stoicism and Marcus Aurelius, he actually has a book out. It's one of like the best sellers that are out there. It's called Meditations.
Yeah.
And it was a book that was written like just his thoughts. It wasn't ever something that was supposed to be published. It wasn't anything like that. Just his personal thoughts on like how to live, how to be a decent person. And to me, like that's one of the, because I like as far as books go and stuff like that, like I can read that one. I can read 1984. That's all. The more we're getting into life, the more we realize it's like
Yeah.
1984. The Iliad, the Odyssey, like books like that. Like I love reading those ones. So whenever you bring up Marcus Aurelius, that's also a great answer.
Yeah, and that one, like I said, I used to listen to it on I found it on YouTube, you know, when I was just kind of deep in it and always in my head. I just started looking up you know, theories, just random ass words that were popping in my head, and he had popped up one time and I was listening to it, and it's just a cool way of simplifying things, I think is what it is. And yeah, so that's a good one. But
And
again, like I said, I had to step aside from the easy answers, like you said. Stop making me think.
Sydney said that hers would be Betty White and Stan Lee. See,
A
there's a part of me like, so I have a former professor at UTEP, and he's still alive. His name is Arvind Singhal. He's a doctor at UTEP, but he does a class that's called Positive Deviance, and it's about changing things in a positive way to break like the normal thought process and cycles like that. So you'll see me do that a lot, especially on the show. Like my sports show and basically half my social media is basically a social experiment.
Oh, I love your social media, and I do listen to your sports show. But I think for sure your social media is hits it because you pull reactions from people that like yeah.
So
So
I
we
don't
all
know if
need
you saw what I did this weekend. I put out the exact same video with two different captions just because I knew it was going to get a reaction, and it has gotten 100% the reaction I thought it would.
was it the basketball?
Yeah, the
The
Angel
women's,
Reese and
the
Caitlin
Angel
Clark.
Reese, Caitlin
One of
Clark.
them,
Yeah. I did
one of
see it,
them
and
was
I
positive towards Angel Reese. The other one was positive towards Caitlin Clark, and it's
did see
just
that.
it's been a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah, no, I did see that one. But yeah, I think always provoking thoughts, and like you said, that's an important thing that you do. And I think I need more of that. Because again, our algorithms, our brain is just a basic algorithm, right? So like the things that we're constantly searching is the things that the phones are going to be feeding us, or the information that we're going to be getting. And I think that's why I used to like reading the Encyclopedia Britannicas so much, was because it's just these big ass books of knowledge and information, and it wasn't uh anything but that. And yeah, so all right, well, those are the questions that I had. um oh, this one's a WWE question, but is there a wrestler you think deserved a better storyline or push in the WWE? You probably speak better on this than me, especially if it's the new era stuff, because
Well, like I can go like a little older too, like Chris Jericho after he won the undisputed championship. Like they just had him drop it at Mania. They didn't really do anything storyline there. It's like you had the guy win it, and then you just like hand it off to Triple H right afterwards. It was kind of like, whatever. More recently, it would be things like Braun Strowman. Like the WWE really dropped the ball with Braun Strowman. Like they build him up to be like this monster type dude, and then just bury him. And the same thing with like whenever they brought Bray Wyatt the Fiend back, like
yeah.
you have this amazing character just to have him lose to Goldberg at a random time was was super weird.
I think that it's getting back to a good place. Like
Yeah.
I'm interested back again into it, and I had kind of died out. My son's been into it ever since he's been tiny. We were into it. My husband and I separately like were loved WWE. So when we got together and we like found that that was another common thing that we had, was super cool. But I like what they're doing with Dominic now.
Mhm.
Um I didn't like him when he first came out, but then I started going back to like Eddie
But he's kinda
Guerrero.
earned it. Like, that's the thing with him is he's earned it, like, he's earned the
Ye-
love and respect of the fans because, like, he goes to all the house shows, like, he's like an old school wrestler where he's doing,
He's
5
doing the work.
yeah.
Yeah, and where was he first? Was he at the, was it NXT? Is that where he?
Well, like, not even, like, he got brought in just, like, with his dad, and I think that that was the thing that made a
Oh,
lot of people hate him was like, "Oh, well, you're just here because of Ray," and then they put the tag team titles on him, like, a month after he shows up, and you got, like, dudes that have worked their whole life to try to get
yeah, yeah,
this.
yeah.
Like the hardcore fans are always gonna like kind of push back on that. And he went through like what 3 or 4 years of just constantly getting booed, not even being able to talk to the fans being like, you know what, man, you dealt with it, you handled it the right way, you embraced it. Let's start getting behind you on this.
Yeah, no, I love it. I like seeing his again, it's growth. I like to see people growing, evolving, changing, fitting into that heel role, and then people loving it. You know what I mean? I love seeing that. Um should athletes be considered role models? I don't feel like this is a parenting one. And for me specifically, the way that I think about it is, as a parent, we need to be the ones who instill a basic foundation in our kids' lives. And we need to make sure that if they have questions, if they have concerns, if they're scared, if they're anything, that they're coming to us, right? But then you can have not maybe somebody that you look up to. I don't know if it would necessarily be a role model, but somebody that you look up to, that you admire their goals. If you're a athlete and you look up to these basketball players or things like that for things that they've done, I feel like yes. But if you're totally giving your kid just this no foundation, no anything, then they're going to look to role models, right? Whether it's an athlete, whether it's whoever it is. We kind of went through this a little bit with my daughter, and it's not an athlete, but like Miley Cyrus, right? Because she was on Hannah Montana when my daughter was young. So we watched it, and then she kind of went and grew into like this crazy person. They're not even crazy. All it is they're fucking growing up. They're evolving. They're not a Disney star. You have to think about where these kids were. And it could be the same for some of these athletes now because they grow up doing only this one thing to get to this one point. And a lot of them are feeding their families with their work, and they don't have a time to like be a kid. So I feel like role models, is that what a role model is, the definition of it?
So a role model is a person that can be looked up to, or like
But not like mimicked or anything, right? Like if you look
yeah,
up
well,
to them.
yeah, that's kind of part of it too, right? Like it's like impersonated basically.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like
So like
I think yeah, but it's not because they want to. Like for me, if you ever come across someone that's like, I want to be a role model, that's like a red flag, right? Like a super red
mhm,
flag. Most of the people that become a role model don't necessarily want to be a role model. They had to go through whatever it was that they went through to come out the other side on the positive, right? Like you look at some of the stories that were out there. We were kind of talking about like different athletes and stuff like that. You look at someone like Antonio Brown, who again like
uh,
was sleeping in his high school during his formative years, was homeless his first semester in college, and like you hear stories like that and you're like, okay, wow, like you see the way that they overcome, and then what he turns into afterwards, right? Like the CTE, like all the stuff that's going on with
yeah,
it that you can see. I think it comes down to like the individual, right? Like a long time ago, people would have been like, yeah, Diddy could have been my role model. And now you look at it like, okay, well, maybe not so much, right? There comes a point where the person doesn't just become your role model. They need to become like something that you push off to the side. Like maybe you use them as an inspiration, like their story as an inspiration. But I
right.
always have a hard time with that word role model because I feel like it's something that's not necessarily a thing that somebody should really seek to be. It's
Right.
just kind of bestowed on you.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like you're saying, these people who have the role model or have earned like this title, right? Because people give it to them. They've had certain struggle. They've had certain issues that they've had to overcome. They've had adversity that they've had to overcome. You can't just look at somebody and say, "I want to be like that person," and not have the adversity because that might not push you the same way as when you're literally just fucking fighting to make it to the next day, fighting to wake up, fighting to make it to the next stage out of high school into whatever sports thing that you're doing. Like you have to experience things on yourself. So I feel like role model, not so much, but looking up to people in a way where you're like, I like what they're doing and I need to find a way to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you guys have asked some really good questions on here. And I tried to not look at them before. I kind of just copy and pasted them on this document because I like to show real time. I feel like being fake about uh, answering these questions and giving just perfect answers is not who I am. I like to give you guys talk to you in real time on these things, and yeah. So anyway, I have taken up almost an hour and a half of your time. I appreciate you for tuning in. If you're listening to this on the, because after this, we'll go ahead and post it on the streaming platform so you can listen to it. But thank you for continuing to support this podcast, for supporting me. Mike, as always, I appreciate you for, being a great mentor and teaching me how to kind of navigate this. And yeah, upcoming shows. Our next episode will be dropping next Tuesday. Again, because I didn't film this past week, we drop episodes on Tuesday. That's why I did the live today. But our show next week is actually going to be our mother daughter show. So my guest will be Sydney. And we have just a fun little show planned just in celebration of Mother's Day. We really didn't, well, you guys hear a lot about me, and I feel like the best way for you to get to know me is to kind of meet the people closest to me. And Sydney is my daughter. She now asked for the other label of house manager. She's my assistant. She does it all. So we're gonna have her on, and then we also 1st of June, the first week in June, we're gonna have Miss Amber Banda on. So make sure that you tune in. We are on all podcast platforms. In the Instagram page, I have a link in the bio to take you directly to them, or wherever you listen to your podcast, you can just search Talking About It. Mike, anything you want to plug?
No, I mean, just, go out, support my show. If you're into sports, you can tune in every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. And obviously, like, I've got the podcast as well. You want to vote for me in the best of the best for El Paso, you can do that as well. There's the link and stuff like that's in all my social media at Mr. Tippin 33.
Yep. And again, June 14th, we have our homies over at Buzzed Podcast. See, I said Buzzed Podcast are doing the pillow fight with the fundraiser to benefit the Jazz Exchange. I'll have information on that on our Instagram link. You can also go and follow Buzzed Podcast on Instagram, 3 Z's. And again, thank you all for your continued support. I appreciate it. If you can, please just share these links, share anything. Doesn't cost you anything, but it'll help me to continue to grow and be able to do more, more things with you guys. Again, if there's anything that you want to talk about, shoot us over some DMs. But thank you for joining us. Have a great night, and we'll see you.